People in the party, hot, hot, hot. People in the party, hot, hot, hot. What does this have to do with insurance? I'll tell you what it has to do. It is a hot, hot topic. Am I right or am I right?
Yes,
Yes.
You're right, because there's been a lot of changes in the laws over the last 10 months or so it's a very hot topic.
Absolutely. So no matter when you watch this video is going to change the way you look at insurance, being a property owner, and God forbid, should you have a loss. So we're going to dive right into it. Thank you for being here today, Mr. Daniel Alvarez.
Yes, hello. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate you having me.
You're welcome. So I'm Katie Urbay, owner and founder of Simply M The Movement, and these are the Spotlight interviews when I bring amazing people to you so that you can hear about the amazing things that they're doing for other folks, and they can do it for you too if you need them, and you'll be able to connect with them. So let's just get the party started.
Awesome.
Hot, hot, hot. So insurance. Lots of people would think it's not a fun topic. It's just stuff that you need. You don't sell insurance, but let's just be clear. We're like, you need car insurance, you need homeowners insurance, so on and so forth, in the case that something happens.
Yes.
Right? So something happens with your home, with your property. How is it that you step in? How is it that you start immediately making that difference?
So I typically don't step in right away. Typically, most people will end up with a public adjuster.
Okay.
That's typically the first stopping point for a loss, whether it be a home or a business. I typically get involved a few months later when the claim has gotten stuck. Either the insurance company is not doing what they're supposed to do, they're not following the law, they're not issuing the payment that they're supposed to, and they need to apply some legal pressure now to get the claim movement.
And the truth of the matter is that it is a maze. It is a labyrinth when you have an insurance claim, unfortunately, many times.
Yeah, so I have been doing this now for 15 years in total. And when I started, insurance policies were about 25 to 35 pages. Now the average is somewhere between 55 to 70. I saw a policy the other day that was 104 pages.
Wow.
So you really need to know what you're doing if you're going to get a claim paid. Because if you don't know how to navigate the maze, you're not going to know how to get the full amount of the benefit of the thing that you bought.
Right, exactly. So we're here in South Florida, which obviously we are always in the cone of fun, not so fun,
Yep.
hurricanes. But what you're sharing today can apply to anyone and everyone, in the sense that you can explain how an insurance attorney makes a difference when you start to see that the insurance is either dragging their feet or pushing back.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. And it really applies anywhere in the state of Florida, really, because the policies are the policies are the policies. What most people don't know is they think they buy an insurance policy and the insurance company is just going to pay the claim. That's not the case. There's actually a bunch of conditions that you have to meet under the policy after you have a loss, so you can get paid for that claim. And that's really where I come in. I make sure that all of those conditions are met so that you can get payment. And if they're met and you still need some assistance and we have to go to court, I'm ready to take that case on.
Yeah, now I'm going to timestamp this a little bit, in the sense that I'm going to bring up the most recent hurricane that unfortunately hit the west coast of Florida, Ian.
Yep.
Right? Which has also been a part of turning the insurance market here in Florida topsy-turvy. We have carriers leaving the market. We have the only option, which is Citizens in many cases, and that sort of thing. You were there in the front lines, right? In the
Yes.
West Coast. Share that with us, please.
So everyone thought this was such a catastrophic loss. How can insurance companies ever think to not pay? And if you watch the news, it really was a catastrophic loss. I mean,
It was.
and if you drove into those areas and you saw what people were struggling with, I mean, there are still people. We're 7 months away from the hurricane, and there are still people living on trailers next to their homes because they haven't gotten money to repair their properties.
Yeah, devastating.
And that's really the reality of the claims market in the state of Florida. Insurance companies have been emboldened by the way that the rules are in the state of Florida, and they pay the minimum amount they can because it's more profitable to hold the money longer than it is to pay claims right at the beginning.
And I've heard you mention it before, and I don't want to kill it, when you try to say, oh, I know this quote, and you're like, oh my God, I said it backwards. But you get it. No, but you've talked about actually the way the law is set up in Florida that actually almost facilitates the dragging of the feet, the dragging it out. Can you give us that timeline again?
Yeah, sure. So, for example, you have now, before you had 3 years, now you only have 1 year to make a claim from the time of the loss, okay? then the insurance company, from the time you make a claim, they have 90 days to investigate it. So that's 3 whole months before they have to do anything on your claim. What happens is they can get to that 3-month period and they can say, well, we can't make a coverage decision because of X. Say they didn't get an engineer out to the property and now they can't figure out exactly what to pay, so they can extend that time period. But let's assume they paid in the 90 days, but they only paid your portion. You go back, you reopen the claim. Now they have an additional 90 days to investigate that reopen before you can even do anything. So now we're at 6 months. You still don't have all the money you need to do the repairs to your home.
Wow.
And that's just the beginning of the process. There's a lot more.
Yeah, no, I bet. But just that alone, like that just gives you an idea of how, I mean, you have a loss. We're not talking about you're waiting 6 months for, I don't know, the orchids or something that you planted to grow or, bloom. No, it's 6 months with something that's seriously wrong in your home, in your, maybe your in your business property, your commercial property, and you're kind of like stuck.
Yeah, look, we have a company that we're representing now that had a loss from Hurricane Ian to a commercial store. And they were shut down for 4.5 months before they could reopen. And that's only because the owner of the business had the cash to do all of the repairs ahead of time as he waited for the insurance company to pay. If he didn't have that cash, the business would have likely been bankrupt.
So you put on your superhero cape. I know you can't guarantee everything, but how you come in and this is how you shake all that up. Tell us about that.
So the goal of my representation is just to make sure that we are following the law to the letter, and to make sure that anything that needs to be done is done, so we can't give the insurance companies an excuse to extend the claim. You want to come in and inspect? Come in next week. You want to come in and prepare an estimate? Come in next week. Oh, you need an estimate from us? We'll get you one in 10 days. That's the kind of stuff that you need to do to make sure that everything gets done as quickly as possible. Again, the insurance companies can still drag this out, just legally they're allowed to. So we can do, what we can do though is facilitate on our end the movement of all of these steps that perhaps put you in a better position so it's not as long.
Yeah, exactly. In other words, you're putting their feet to the fire.
Yeah.
And you have them on, you have them on the clock.
Yes.
And you're the one, you're poking the bear. You're like, we're still here. We're not going away. Because many times that's what, they hope is that you, by the time you remember, oh my God, I need to follow up again, or did the time lapse? And you're there to make sure that the clock is ticking and that they know that you're watching the clock tick.
And I'm also there to alleviate so a lot of people, they'll have one insurance claim in all of their lives. And it's a catastrophic event. They don't really know how to handle it. And so they're already distraught. So as much as I'm helping them with the law, I'm also helping them manage expectations and keeping them calm and keeping them collected and informed. Because that's the other thing. Insurance companies now, it's not like the old days where all of these people that worked for them were their employees. Now it's all independent contractors that they hire.
Really?
One person is there today, that person's gone tomorrow. So you might go through 4 adjusters, 5 adjusters on your claim before anything happens on it. And that can be frustrating for clients. And my goal is to alleviate that process for them so that I can be their point of contact and they know what is happening on our end to facilitate the claim.
So if you're seeing all this eyebrow action that's going on in my face, is because I am seriously making these connections. Yes, it's true. Mm-hmm. Someone, hopefully you never have to go through a big loss and having to do an insurance claim. But when you do, it is your first time, and you're right. There's this whole emotional component. A lot of times people lose memories, all kinds of things. It turns their life upside down, their livelihood, their stability, and then you're there to also help manage expectations, which is a great thing, because that way you kind of start to wrap your head around it, right? Yeah. And you're supported.
Yeah, and honestly, most people think, I've paid my premiums, why aren't they paying me? I'll be honest with you guys, those days are gone. You're a number to an insurance company. When you pay your premiums, that's all they care about. It's not that you've been a customer for 29 years. If not that you've had the same agent for the same 20. None of that matters. What matters is, are you performing under the policy by paying your premiums and following your conditions, and then they'll pay you on the loss. But even then, they might not pay you everything.
Right.
So that's really why you need someone involved to help you in the process, like myself, to make sure that the claim is handled. But yeah, the biggest misconception and the biggest thing that causes people heartbreak is they're supposed to be there for me. They think this is an emotional transaction. It isn't an emotional transaction. It's only an emotional transaction for the insured, for the homeowner, the business owner. For the insurance company, you're a number.
Yeah.
Just know that.
Yeah, for sure. And based on that, I know because not every attorney in all different kinds of areas of law is a litigator.
Yeah.
But you are.
Yeah. Yes.
He will go in there and he's going to fight for you, right?
Yeah.
Because that's also an important part of hiring the right person.
Yeah.
Because if it comes to that, right, it doesn't always.
Yeah.
You want someone that's going to get up there and do your thing.
Yeah. So the majority of claims and the majority of cases are going to settle. But there is that 2 to 5% or so that is going to have to go all the way. So that's really where I, quote unquote, shine, because I don't just try cases for my clients. I have a lot of other attorneys that hire me to go try their cases because they don't have the experience, or maybe they're just getting started in the business, or maybe they just need someone to help them along at the end of the process to move that process along. The good thing that comes along with that is you also build relationships with the other side, and you also build relationships with insurance companies or representatives. And they know that if I'm opposing them, they know that it's a no-nonsense situation, because I don't get involved in nonsense cases.
Yeah.
If it's a case that I don't think can be supported, I'm not going to stand behind it. But if I can, I will, and the insurance companies know that. And so they're a little bit more hesitant to perhaps take a case to trial when they have a litigator on the other end. I'm not saying I'm the best person in the world, not by all means. But insurance companies do keep statistics of
Sure.
people that try cases versus people that don't try cases. And they also keep statistics of those results. So they put all of that together and they're like, maybe this one isn't one we want to try.
Yeah.
And that's how I additionally help people.
Yeah, yeah. So it's funny. I was like, sometimes I divulge some little secrets. So I'm addicted to Dateline, the podcast. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone watching, let me know where I need to call to get rid of this addiction. But what you just said is so true. So an attorney that other attorneys know and go to and ask for help, and I've heard it where people are like, yeah, such and such defense attorney is known. Everyone knows this prosecutor, because people are paying attention. And the truth of the matter is that you do shine, like you said, because you're going in all the way for your client.
Yeah.
And that is what's needed, especially if a claim has gotten to that point. I mean, we're really like, now this is like tooth and nail. We're going to fight this out. And like you said, the insurance companies pay attention. So
Yeah.
I know when Daniel Alvarez is up to bat, they're like, maybe we should settle this.
Yeah, and it's not, and people think it's about fear. It isn't about fear. It's just, again, this is a business transaction for the insurance company.
It's a number.
It's a number. So, but if they know that I am more likely than not, let's say the odds are in my favor just because I get involved, that I'm going to win 70% of the time, okay? They know that. They keep track of all of these things.
Right.
I'll give you a brief story.
Sure.
I walked into an insurance company after Hurricane Irma in 2017, so this is at the end of 2018, and they called us to settle 48 cases all at the same time.
Wow.
Okay, we walk into the room to talk to the representative of the insurance company, and they walk in and they know, and they say, you settle your cases on average for X percentage of the amount that you initially claim. And I was like, wow, you're probably right. And they're like, so this is a number we want you to take. And we told them, yeah, you're right, but we also keep those numbers. Don't you think that we'd settle for less on cases that aren't as strong, and maybe we hold back on the ones that are stronger?
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff that they don't really realize, and until they kind of deal with you on a regular basis, they don't realize that the ones that are stronger and need to be fought harder, we will fight harder for. And little by little, you start getting that reputation, and insurance companies start paying attention to that. Again, it's not about fear.
Yeah.
It's about using their tactics against them.
Yeah.
We're a number to them, so make them a number to you and figure out the weak spots for them so that you can use that to leverage to your client's advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, I'm just really like, want to be honest. You also have a secret weapon, and that is his wife.
Yes. Yes.
Who has an eye for pointing out the things that you're like, I didn't think of that, which
Yeah.
I absolutely think that's so cool.
Yeah. So my wife is not an attorney, which is awesome, because since she's not an attorney, she doesn't look at things through an attorney's eyes. She looks at it through a regular person's eyes. So whenever I'm taking a case to trial, I sit down with my wife and I'm like, listen, I need you to listen to my case. I need you to listen to how I'm going to approach it. I need you to see if I'm missing something. And no lie, sometimes we're done showering, we're putting the kids to bed, we're done. I'm just sitting there in bed and I'm doing my opening statement for her that I'm going to do at trial. And she's like, no, you're too boring right now. Or this
Spice
is
it
way
up.
too complicated. You need to keep it simple. And really, that's the advantage of having someone that, A, has been with me for such a long time.
Yes.
I've been with my wife since 2005, so 18 years.
Wow.
And she understands somewhat the business, but not enough to actually to give an opinion that's a lawyer's opinion.
Fresh ears, fresh eyes.
And fresh eyes, fresh ears give you a whole other perspective when you're presenting to jury of your peers that really have no idea what insurance is or how it works. And having her be that extra set of eyes, that is invaluable to me. She should get a salary.
Yes, she should. She should. So we're going to start a petition.
Yes.
So anyone can hire you, right, in the state of Florida?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Anyone
awesome.
can hire me in the state of Florida. With Zoom these days, we work all over the state. And I've tried cases from Palm Beach all the way down to Miami. I have a case that's set for trial in Sarasota in a month and a half. And another one that's set for trial in some county just north of Orlando that I have no clue even what it's called. But yeah, I'll go try a case anywhere because trying a case is trying a case.
Yes.
And really it's just about figuring out ways to connect and present to jurors why your case is important and why it matters to your client and how they need to apply the facts to the law in order to reach the right conclusion. And generally what we're asking them is that the right conclusion is paying my client.
Yes, absolutely. So truth be told, honestly and truthfully, the reason I do these interviews is because I just think it's so important to reach out to people that have high integrity, that really love what they do, that it's really about the people that they serve, and that they're experts in their fields, and that they're always learning more, doing better, like how you just said, even that, sharing your opening statement with your wife, it's because you're there, you're already preparing, right? You're focused. And not everyone, unfortunately, does their work, their career that way.
Yeah.
So I just really recommend anyone that's had, unfortunately, any kind of loss that does not want to navigate this, that should not navigate that alone, reach out to Daniel Alvarez. You're just such an outstanding person. I love you to bits.
Thank you.
Yes, and he's so nice, and he's so funny, so cute. He just really is. A lot of times people think attorneys, ooh, scary. No.
Yeah.
Totally approachable. He's a real guy who's going to get real results for you. So what's the best way for folks to reach you?
They can go to my website, alvarez.legal, not .com, .legal. They can reach out via Instagram. It's Alvarez Law Group at Instagram. They can also call my office, 786-620-2820. And I'd be happy to contact if you're an attorney watching this, I take call from fellow attorneys all the time. It's probably about like 10% of my day because I'm a big believer in a rising tide lifts all boats. So I try to pass that along.
You see, I told you. And I have you on my LinkedIn. And I would say if you're a professional, follow him on LinkedIn. You're always sharing a lot of great posts and quotes too. Mm-hmm. So we're definitely connected there, Daniel.
Sure.
Thank you for coming
Thank
on
you for
here
having
today.
me.
Yes, for sure. So remember, stay happy, stay positive, be blessed, and be a blessing. Till next time, bye for now.